Hey everybody, come with me on a ride out to the Delta Carts. It's a new food cart pod out at the Delta Park Shopping Center. Ever since I saw it open, I knew it would be a place that would be pretty cool to bike to given the different paths and bike lanes. So here we go. If you're at Peninsula Park or near Rosa Parks, you can hop on the North Michigan Avenue Neighborhood Greenway. It's one of hundreds of miles of neighborhood greenways all throughout Portland. The way I like to go is over what I call the Bryant Street Bridge. It says dead end, but don't believe that. Bicycles are absolutely able to access this bridge. Yeah, it can be a little sketchy at times because the sightlines are really bad, but I've never had a problem on here personally, and I love this bridge. It makes a really helpful connection through my neighborhood. Otherwise, I'm on bigger streets that have freeway on-ramps and off-ramps, so I recommend checking out the Bryant Bridge if you haven't already, whether or not you're going to go out to the food cart pods. From there, my pro tip is to take Maryland Avenue instead of Montana. Maryland has a lot fewer cars and no speed bumps. That connects you right to Buffalo, and Buffalo takes you to Interstate. And this is where you have an alternate. If you don't want to take Interstate, which I did on this trip just because I thought it'd be faster and more direct, you could stay on Buffalo, go 1 or 2 blocks over to Concord, go north on Concord, and then cross Lombard, get onto Fenwick. That way you're on a neighborhood greenway all the way down to the Mayfly Plaza. But back to Interstate Avenue, I wanted to show folks what this looks like in case you're curious. I've been on this for years. I've never had a problem technically, but it is highly stressful, especially this intersection with Lombard. Interstate and Lombard is one of the top worst, dangerous, stressful intersections in the city of Portland. And if you just look at how cars and drivers dominate this space, you'll really understand why. Really unfortunate. ODOT, I think, is in control of Lombard right here, and this is a Peabot Street interstate, but just the volume of traffic here and the proximity to the I-5 freeway, there's just a lot of cars, and unfortunately hasn't been much mitigation at all from either of those road agencies. I wish they'd take a closer look and reduce some of the car capacity there to make it nicer. But Interstate itself has a bike lane, although it's unprotected. I'm not sure why Peabot lets people park on the street here. It would be nice to have a buffer and a protection for the bike lane since these folks have driveways they can use. But moving further north, we get to the Mayfly Plaza. This is a great place to get a drink and hang out. This is one of Peabot's official plazas. I'm glad to see it's still here since there was some controversy about it remaining a couple years back that I reported on. The way I like to navigate this little area right at the northern tip of the Kenton downtown neighborhood, I go through the Mayfly Plaza, I hop onto North Willis and head west into the parking lot of what used to be the Dancing Bear Strip Club, but is now pretty exciting. I think an underage music venue, super exciting. Continuing on from there, I follow the Max tracks and I get to this point on North Denver Avenue, which for some reason, the way ODOT designed this was instead of making a large protected bike lane, they made you choose. You can choose to either go on this sidewalk/path or on the street, which just has an unprotected buffered bike lane. Fun little fact here, when ODOT first did this project, these bolts stuck out several inches, but I did some reporting on BikePortland to point out how they could cut people who were biking by, and they went and had to saw all of them off. The only thing to really worry about if you're on this path are these driveways into these two businesses. I've never really had a close call here, but I feel like it's always a potential. Continuing north, I love looking over in these industrial areas at all the weird stuff in these lots. And then, of course, going over the beautiful Columbia Slough, which is always a favorite place for me to ride. When I get to the intersection with Schmear, I make this little right and I connect to go east onto the Columbia Slough path, which just recently got repaved, which is nice. I'm glad that the city recently put some bollards. And another big plus recently here is that the city's Water Bureau actually finished a big project here, which means they added this really nice sidewalk and repaved the street. And the industrial development there is new as well. What I like about that is it's really going to calm traffic. People are going to go a lot slower as they cross over the bikeway, which I'm going to get to in just a second. Going under I-5 here can be a little bit sketchy because it's darker and people tend to be sleeping there, but I've never had a problem with folks, but your mileage may vary. Now here's the connection. Once you get off the Columbia Slough path, you head over onto Schmear Road. This is probably one of the diciest parts in this route. You've got to be careful crossing Schmear Road. I do think people drive relatively cautiously here, but don't take my word for it. Keep your wits about you when you cross Schmear. And then you get onto these relatively new bike lanes on North Whitaker Road. They are protected with plastic wands. I'd love to see the city come back and do concrete curbs here. And it takes you right into the Delta Park Shopping Center. You just hang a right, and there are the new Delta carts. But before I get over there, I had to navigate sort of an awkward crossing. I just used the center turn lane to wait for an opening, and then I rolled in. And there I was, 2.5 miles or so later from Peninsula Park. There I am at Delta Carts. It's a really good-looking cart pod. They did an excellent job doing the landscaping and just making it look super nice. They've got really good bike parking, which I love to see, and a huge bonus that it was the actually the official color of BikePortland, a pretty close match. That was fun. I like that it's right up front and that they use staples and not some kooky little art rack or wave racks. The pod itself, they've got shaded places to eat, plenty of tables, green grass, bathrooms, and of course the food cart. I think there's 6 or 7 of them right now. There is a sushi place, a gyro place, Korean street food, Boba Blastic, Curry Junction, Philly Cheese Hub, and Tabueno Ne. This is Johnny. I met Johnny, the owner of Tabueno Ne, and had a quick chat with him.
I'm Johnny. I'm the owner of Tabueno. Yeah, we do burritos, we do tacos, we do quesadillas, panuchos. It's a handmade fried tortilla. Very excited to start getting more customers here. Come out on Delta Cart. So stop by and get a burrito, a panucho, quesadillas. We are here, and very soon we're going to have Aguas Frescas back again. Stop by. Thank you.
I can see why Johnny was so excited for folks to try their food. It's super good, and here I am doing my cheesy impression of a food influencer. Sorry about that. But yes, go check out the Delta Carts. Here's the route that I took. I will put the Ride with GPS link here so you can follow the route yourself. I would recommend this for all ages and abilities. It really is nice to see how Peabot's neighborhood greenway, some bike lanes, the path network all comes together to make it so that we can actually bike out to this new destination just beyond the slough. Have fun out there, and let me know if you do this ride, how it goes for you.